Sometimes I wonder what Fred Rogers would think of YouTube comment sections. So I just came back from a late Saturday night screening of Won't You Be My Neighbor, the new documentary by Neville. And I've been waiting for several months for this to come out. It just showed up here in Green Bay. And so I went to see it, and I heard a lot about it. And so I had expectations going in. I went by myself. My wife didn't come with me to see it. And as I left, she's like offering me tissues to bring with me to the theater. And that's pretty much like everything that I'd heard about the movie from everyone that I've read that has seen it is, go in. It's definitely a tearjerker, but not in a sad way. And we've been without Fred Rogers since 2003, but more in a hopeful, inspirational kind of way. And so I went to the Saturday night 9:50 show here in Green Bay, and I was the only one in the theater. And I'm actually kind of glad for that, because towards the very end of the movie, with the way that movies are automated now these days, where the lights go down automatically right before a movie starts, and the lights come up during the credits, they actually timed the lights to come up a little bit before the credits came up, like in the last 2 minutes of the movie, which, if you're going to be affected by the movie, it's really the last couple of minutes are like the real, sucker punch of emotion in the movie, at least for me. And I'm glad I was the only one in the theater, because there was definitely some ugly crying going on. And, as someone that's probably spent the better part of my life trying not to ugly cry in front of women that I respect in movies. And I cry at movies a lot. I mean, it's not something that I really, try not to, but I don't know, this one really got me. This was a documentary that it was obviously someone that I really respect and have admired for years and years, grew up with, as so many of my generation and generations previous to mine had, and so I kind of knew that I was going to hit in a certain way, and it definitely did. It's probably not quite as consistently as I was expecting it to, but it certainly packs a punch throughout the movie, but definitely in the last few minutes it really kind of hit me. This, on the whole, I think was probably one of the top 3, if not the top documentary that I've seen. And as someone that loves documentaries and has been going to documentaries for decades and has tried to make documentaries, this one really hit me. Whether it was in the, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe. And I spent I was going to record a video like right in my car as I was getting on the movie, and I don't know, I spent the whole ride home from the theater trying to think about how to describe it, how to put into words kind of my thoughts on it, and I don't even really know that I even have them now, like half hour, 40 minutes later. And I was trying to think, well, will I be able to kind of verbalize what it was that really deeply impacted me about the movie, even tomorrow or the next day or the next day. And I don't know that it was just something that it just kind of hit me in a place that I wasn't really expecting. And I can't really put a finger on it. It was not just a biography, documentary. It wasn't just, chronicling the career of a man that's well known. It was really kind of a timeline of the soul of America from the 50s till, just past 9/11, and even a little bit now, kind of where we're at in this country, and this person's place in it, and how his presence in the, very up and down culture and history of America, how he really fit into that, and how his presence on TV was really not only kind of in reaction to a lot of it, but kind of I don't know. It's really kind of hard for me to even really put it into words, but it did really, not overtly, I wasn't really kind of beaten over the head with it as far as how it relates to modern times and today, especially with the very unsettling times that we're living in right now. But in a way, it was kind of a celebration, but also kind of a realization that the modern times that we're in right now, there seems to be like a really big void of the kind of thing that Fred Rogers did in our times today. And I can definitely, I wake up in the morning and listen to the news, and I've been depressed. I feel dread about a lot of stuff that's going on, and uncertainty and things like that. And I could definitely see how radical it was to have Mr. Rogers talking so directly to kids about, war, assassination, racism, all that stuff along the way. And, is there really anybody that's kind of helping guide kids through all that stuff, which is still present in our current times? And I don't know that there is. The movie asserts that, there's more Fred Rogers in the world than we realize, but I, spent the car ride home thinking about it, and trying to identify who those people are. And I'm sure there are those people, and there's probably ones that I would think of later on and say, oh, I see that, but I'm like, I think it was a combination of who Fred Rogers was, plus the medium of television being so specific as it was back in the days when he was really prevalent on TV. Kind of in the same way that, he broke through, in the same way that kind of Jim Henson broke through in the infant medium of television. And with everything so splintered and fractured these days, I don't know how one really does that today, and who is doing that, and how one would do that these days, to get through to so many more people. So I don't know. The movie was a lot to think about. It was very joyous, uplifting, a celebration of a life, for sure. but there was also, it threw a little bit of realization of uncertainty, and yeah, it was a very, for a subject that seems so simple, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood in his day seemed very simple, and it was parodied for that fact. But the show and also the movie have a lot of layers of complexity to them that I wasn't really expecting, and it definitely draws a picture of Mr. Rogers that was more complex than I ever really realized. So it was an exceptional movie, one that if I don't see it again in a theater, I will definitely be taking it in multiple times when it hits video, just to kind of keep drawing upon it and perhaps kind of understanding it better, and yeah, it's just, I was really, really struck by it in a way that I wasn't partly was expecting, but partly really kind of blindsided me, and it was yeah, it's just one of those that, you know, if it's in your area, seek it out. If it's not in your area, definitely seek it out when it hits video. Whether you're a fan of Mr. Rogers, whether you're growing up with Mr. Rogers like I did, or not, I think it hits both audiences. I think you'd get a lot out of it regardless, and it was just a really, really striking film that I'm really glad I got a chance to see. So I'd give it pretty much my highest recommendation for Won't You Be My Neighbor. So definitely check it out, and go ahead and hit subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Leave me a comment or shoot me an email. I'd love to hear what you think about the movie, and definitely go see it.